Hey everyone. So earlier today, I saw someone post about this 300 tweet thread, but this one dude talking about Hu Tao. Is that how you pronounce it actually? Wait. Pronunciation. Wait, 1 second. Let's see.
Leave some space between the roof of your mouth and your tongue and channel your breath in one go.
Okay,
See.
that's not who I need.
Hu Tao.
Hu Tao.
Hu Tao.
Hu Tao. Okay, perfect. So, we're going to be reading through this entire thread together, this journey. I don't know how long this will take. It is 300 tweets, so. A thread of how Hu Tao changed my life. A rewrite. They rewrote this? 0 out of 300. Hu Tao deactivated my previous Hu Tao devotee account after she caught me retweeting lewd art and thirsting over other characters. Hu Tao, if you're reading this, I sincerely apologize. This is dedicated to you. Our memento. Hu Tao, through thick and thin, you were always there for me. Thank you. You've shone a bright light on my dark, dull world. You taught me to love again, to be loved. You showed me love. This thread is dedicated to you. Through words alone may not be enough to express the amount of love I harbor towards you, Hu Tao. I'll try my best to convey it through this thread. I previously made a 100 tweet thread about us, but I felt like that not much effort was placed into it. And the amount of errors throughout were not worthy enough for you. You may deserve something better written. Something that would engrave myself into you and you into me, Hu Tao. This is our memento. Even if we pass on, this memento would serve its purpose of representing our love we have for another for generations to come. As I write this, immense tears of pleasure begin to flow from my eyes as I think of you, of us, of our future together. Last year, my life took a turn for the better. I met someone whom I eventually fell in love with immediately. Or not eventually, someone who I fell in love with immediately. Someone that would eventually change my life for the better. And that was you, Hu Tao. I remember these moments vividly. It was the 22nd of February 2021 when I set my eyes upon a precious treasure. A treasure more valuable than the Holy Grail itself. Holy. Something awoken in me that very day. A sensation that was entirely new to me. It was ecstatic. I felt ecstatic. A buzzing sensation flowed through my entire body at that moment. I knew we were destined by fate to be together. It was love at first sight. I stared hours upon hours at the first leaked gameplay footage that was released of Hu Tao. Her fluid movements, her beautiful charge attacks, followed by butterfly effects as she sprinted, was mesmerizing. Drool began to drip from my mouth as I continued staring at the gameplay footage of Hu Tao. Then she turned around. Hu Tao locked eyes with me. I froze, the way she stared at me with her glazing, energetic red eyes as she twirled her staff of Homa between her fingers. Her soft fingertips with black painted nails, those fingers. From this point, a goal sprouted in my head. Obtain Hu Tao at any cost, max her out, her talents, her weapon refinements, including constellations, a goal I would eventually fulfill. So I'm not a Genshin player, I don't know how impressive that is, but I think that means you have to uphold them like 10 times or something, so that's pretty impressive. The lengths in which I take for Hu Tao should not be underestimated. Some might wonder, what's so special about my wife Hu Tao? What makes her the best waifu? Sit back, grab your drinks and popcorn as I enlighten you as to how Hu Tao is the best thing to ever be created since the creations of the heaven and the earth. I have no popcorn or a drink, so hopefully this is okay. Though Hu Tao may be lacking in the boob department, she makes up for what she doesn't have in boob size with her succulent thighs and beauty. Regardless of the size of her boobs, Hu Tao has a really soft, firm ass, though that's actually bigger than you'd imagine until you see her. Completely naked. Hu Tao has the qualities of an SSSSSS plus waifu. She's so precious, her smile, unique red eyes in the shape of peach blossom flowers, lush silk, smooth brown hair, and her amazing enthusiastic voice. There's no day that passes without me listening to all of Hu Tao's voice lines. This might get NSFW, I might have to skip some stuff, including climbing sounds for hours upon hours while cuddling my Hu Tao body pillow. Hu Tao has the best moans in Genshin Impact out of all the female and male characters. There are angelic modes that would fill your body with pleasure. you, like you never have before. That when your wood is completely drained and devoid of energy after being drained by Hu Tao herself, would erect once more, harder than layers of vibranium. Hu Tao is one of the most well-developed characters to be created in any form of medium on Earth. Hu Tao is the embodiment of perfection, cuteness, beauty, and pure cocaine in my blood. One aspect of Hu Tao I really admire is her personality. On the surface, Hu Tao is a prankster. She's portrayed to be a free-spirited and upbeat person. On the flip side, when it comes to her funeral business, rituals, and ceremonies, she takes them really seriously, following her very own principle: live in life, die in death. She can be seen in Liyue promoting her funeral business to the local people, whether that be on bulletin boards or in person, which the people of Liyue often find annoying and distasteful. Sigh. They just don't understand my wife. People die. Everyone would eventually pass away at some point in their lives. So why don't they accept Hu Tao's 2-for-1 funeral parlor coupon? Having to prepare dead people for burials while performing a magnitude of rituals can be a very task. I imagine it's a tiresome task for Hu Tao, but she never shows any degree of tiredness. When times get tough, I usually try my best to comfort Hu Tao, reducing her daily stress. Hu Tao, I'm here for you. I'm all yours. During Hu Tao's story reveals an event that affected her a lot: her grandfather's passing, the 75th head of the Wangshan funeral parlor. A grand funeral was held for Hu Tao's granddad, which was conducted by Hu Tao. According to his last wishes, which must have been a really difficult moment for Hu Tao, a loved one, a relative she was really close with passed away. Hu Tao bawled her eyes out that day. After her granddad's passing, with Hu Tao being only 13 at the time, Hu Tao would take on the role to become director of the funeral parlor. She made arrangements herself to the highest standard, greatly impressing the undertakers. After the funeral, Hu Tao would then go on a 2-day journey towards the border that separated life from death in an attempt to try and locate the spirit of her grandfather, in which was deemed unsuccessful. In desperation, Hu Tao continued her search throughout day and night, in hopes of seeing him one last time. Even when her food rations began to diminish, excluding her supply of water, she still continued the search before falling asleep due to exhaustion. So what, we're 12th of the way. She'd eventually come to the conclusion the reason her grandfather wasn't there was that he passed over the border as soon as he arrived, leaving no regrets behind. Upon this realization, an exhausted Hu Tao set forth on her journey back home, a smile across her face, with the lingering thoughts of one of her grandfather's sayings: live in life, die in death, follow your heart, do what no one can. This story almost made me cry out my heart. I felt like giving Hu Tao head pats and hugs, but in the end we settled for emotional sex. It made Hu Tao... Didn't he say that she was 13? Okay. Hu Tao feel like my soulmate. I was able to relate to Hu Tao due to my grandma passing, and Hu Tao was able to relate to me. She was 85 on the day of her passing, was a really strong woman. I loved her to bits. I remember speaking to my grandpa. She lay on the hospital bed. I was holding back tears, fighting to stop my voice from cracking. Thoughts were rushing through my head. Was she going to pull through? What was the reason for her hospitalization? She was completely fine the day prior, not this. A few hours after the video call I had with my grandma as she lay on the hospital bed, news of her passing were relayed through my mom. I lay on Hu Tao's lap while telling her my recollection of my grandma's passing, as Hu Tao gently moved her hands through my hair. How old is she? Oh, I messed up even more. Oops. She's 20. He's safe. Or she's safe. They're safe. Whoever. Which was very comforting, and damn, Hu Tao's laps are soft. Another aspect of Hu Tao that puts together her character representation in Genshin Impact is her voice. Her Japanese voice, that is. While the Chinese, Korean, and English voice for Hu Tao also sound quite good. It's expected of MiHoYo to hire the best of to voice my queen. I generally prefer Hu Tao's Japanese dub. It's a magnificent work of art. Thank you, Ri Takahashi, for the amazing work you've done for Hu Tao. You really put life into Hu Tao's voiceovers. Hu Tao Japanese voiceover really brings out and solidifies Hu Tao's personality. Her croaked singing while she sings the hilly trail song is just so cute. It shines a light down on the free-spirited part aspect of her personality, even though her singing voice may not sound the best. It makes Hu Tao much more attractive and unique. Hu Tao, you really need to work on your singing techniques. Haha, I'm joking. Either way, I still love you though. My favorite Hu Tao is her low HP line. When Hu Tao is on my team, her HP is always in the low portion of the HB bar. This is a line I constantly hear when Hu Tao activates her E skill on low HP. She lets out a sharp E sound. The sound she makes during that period breathes life into me, energizing my entire being after long hours of playing Genshin Impact. Some people would be wondering, how am I able to squeeze in long hours of Genshin Impact into my gaming sessions? It's simple. I spend 5 minutes on daily commissions, 10 minutes on artifact domains, and I finally spend the remaining 3 hours talking to Hu Tao, telling her about my day, listening to how her own day went, listening to her voice lines. Hu Tao never fails to bring a smile to my face. Hu Tao's hands, her soft, delicate, warm extremities that when I grasp, they make me feel so handsome, so desired, so safe. They're perfect. Hu Tao's palms extend till I meet her delicate fingertips, her black painted nails signifying authority and assertiveness. Though Hu Tao wouldn't like me telling people this, every time she's done eating, before she washes her hands, Hu Tao allows me to suck on her fingertips until I'm satisfied. Interesting. The fingertip sucking session never fails to arouse me. Okay. Okay. The feel of Hu Tao's delicate fingers inside of my mouth as I gently move my tongue in circular directions, spreading my saliva over every single crevices that lay on her finger. The taste of her black nail polish as my teeth accidentally scraped a bit of her fingernails. Bruh? When I look up at Hu Tao during our fingertip sucking session, she always seemed to be in a trance. Her face would be flushed red while she started staring at me, drawing heavy breaths, releasing sharp moans. She wears a skirt during these sessions. I can clearly see how turned on Hu Tao gets. We're skipping this part. We're skipping that part too. Even though Hu Tao may not be the most thickest of all waifus when it comes to chest size specifically, her soft, plump thighs bring out the seductive aspect of her. Hu Tao's boobs are petite, bouncy to the touch, and really firm. The type of fit in your hands without leaving any spillage. When Hu Tao gets aroused, we're skipping that. Important to note that he can't wait until Hu Tao starts lactating. I'd be able to ditch store-bought milk and get my milk, daily calcium intake, and nutrition from her. Okay. We're skipping that too. We're skipping that also. Sigh. Genshin Impact has given me so many unique fetishes. From Kokomi's belly button, Gunny's horns, Yoran's armpits, Ayaka's wet socks. Why wet socks? Yaimigo's bathwater in fox form? There's Lumine's unwashed clothes and underwear? There's one fetish in particular that stands above the rest. I have a severe Hu Tao fetish. Can you really have a fetish for a person? I guess. Her poo! We're skipping this part, but he craves her poo? Okay. Hu Tao's dash is the most unique dash in Genshin Impact. It really shows the amount of effort that MiHoYo placed in creating such a divine being that goes by the name Hu Tao. She's one of a kind. When Hu Tao dashes, she disappears for a brief moment, leaving behind a trail of reddish-yellow butterflies. Her dash is simply a refined work of art. As I said earlier, words alone cannot express my love for Hu Tao, but I'll have to try my utmost best to convey it through words for readers. While Hu Tao would experience the love I have for her through backbreaking, physical, stamina-draining sex, Hu Tao is my passion. She's the strings that keep my life together. Take away Hu Tao and my life simply falls apart without any meaning. Before I met Hu Tao, I was lost in life. I had no idea what I wanted to do, what I wanted to become. I had nothing that makes me feel happiness. I wish you guys could see the confused look on my face right now. I downloaded like this VTuber thing on Steam. I gotta set that up so I can kind of convey my emotions. Since then, my life has been taking a turn for the good. Okay, good on this dude. Hu Tao single-handedly made me a better person. She taught me how to love again. She taught me it's okay to show my weaknesses to her. She told me she'd always be there for me. Words which always reassure me. Is this dude still tweeting? Hang on. Wait, I'm worried that I might see something on SFW. We're not going on. That's posted June. Okay. Good to know. How'd I get over here? Let me see where. Alright, I think we're right here. Okay, yeah. I'm tearing up just thinking of Hu Tao and how my life would have been if I had never met her. When I play Genshin Impact, every team composition, every Abyss rotation, every domain run, every event, I always bring Hu Tao along. I just can't bear leaving her out for one single minute. It hurts. It pains my heart when I think of benching her. Something I would never in my life do. I would never bench you, Hu Tao. I can't manage to go a day without listening to all of Hu Tao's voice lines while she does her idle animation and stares at me from the screen. A day without playing Hu Tao would be worse than spending eternity in hell. Hu Tao and I share a very special bond between ourselves. A bond that is stronger than my unhealthy Genshin Impact addiction. Yeah, well, I think they're kind of one and the same. But a bond stronger than molecules and diamond. A bond that cannot be broken by God. I love Hu Tao to bits, to the point I've started worshipping her. We can tell. Genuinely, the religion I created for myself, which is open to those that wish to follow the gospel and teachings of Hu Tao, is called Hu Taoism. Interesting. I've even created a set of 10 commandments for the religion of Hu Taoism, in which I religious follow the commandments I listed below. Pray to Hu Tao 3 times a day. Don't worship any other gods. Okay, awesome. Don't look at any other waifus or husbandos. Always mouth feed Hu Tao every meal when possible. Never say her name in vain. You can't cheat on her. You can't love another waifu. This is kind of same as looking at them. You have to spread her gospel every Sunday. You can't come while in her presence. And you must respect her and treat her as a superior being. Just to clarify, though some people may not notice, Hu Tao wears a really thick long coat, a coat in which hides the size of Hu Tao's frontal and back bust. How do I know this? I've seen Hu Tao naked on multiple occasions as we live together. Once you see Hu Tao's glory in her full nakedness, you'll drool out blood. When I stare into the depths of her eyes, her lush, dark red eyes the shape of flowers, her eyes have the potential to make your soul lust over her. This dude's such a poet. This dude is a banger poet. When I look into her eyes and stare at the upbeat aura she radiates, it brings a massive smile to my face. Without Hu Tao, I may not even be in this world to type this. I would have given it passed on about a year ago. That sucks. But Hu Tao saved him. She gave him a reason to go on. This reason being herself. Over and over again, I always wonder, how would Genshin Impact be without Hu Tao? The thoughts of that alone were enough to send chills down my spine. Dude, you've played Genshin before she was in it. You know what it was like. She's one of the only characters that gives me the motivation to continue playing Genshin. Okay. Genshin Impact, even when content gets dry. Hu Tao becomes the content. Hu Tao has all of the traits that when put together can be summarized with one word: perfection. She's the most refined and complex character to understand. My love for Hu Tao knows no bounds. Before Hu Tao first banner ended, I C6'd her, and her R1 weapon. I planned to go for R5, but the new weapon fate point system was not yet implemented, and I did not want to get tech-taunted while waiting for the staff of Homa. I don't know what this means. I did eventually R5 her weapon on her rerun banner that followed. C6 R5 Hu Tao cost me around 2,600 pounds. One of the best bargains I've made throughout my entire life. Nothing is out of reach when it involves Hu Tao. Oh, stop. Come on, man. The hat appears to be oversized for Hu Tao's head, but there's no problem. She spent an entire day modifying the hat dimensions with her own hands so it can fit her head perfectly. No matter the weather, whether it's raining, snowing, stormy, or if Hu Tao returns late covered in mud or muck, she always ensures that her hat remains spotless clean. She really cherishes that hat. If anyone were to steal it from Hu Tao, they shall face my wrath. So we have to steal the hat, right? We gotta find out how to steal the hat. We gotta, like, get into Genshin Impact headquarters or move the hat. On the front of Hu Tao's hats rests the insignia of the Wangshan funeral parlor. The golden color of the insignia really complements the color of Hu Tao's hat and outfit. Off My Queen has an exquisite sense of fashion which no one in Teyvat can compete with. Well, apart from Zhongli. Zhongli's suit is just too sexy. Good to know they like, oh shit, what'd I click? No! Bring us back. I really love the way the color of the plum blossom complements the red color of Hu Tao's pretty red eyes with her white flower-shaped pupils. The plum blossom on the side of Hu Tao's hat was picked from a plum tree that Hu Tao herself planted and grew. We're about a fourth of the way. The creation process is as follows. Pluck and air dry, then paint, lacquer, and outline carefully before sun drying for 3 days, which results in a beautiful accessory, soft to the touch and bearing a delicate fragrance. Hu Tao adores this hat and keeps it as a memento of her grandfather, the 75th funeral director. So please don't steal her hat, smiley face. That's a threatening smiley face. Hu Tao wears a tailored long coat, which is the best part of her funeral parlor outfit. The coat runs all the way down past her brown shorts to brown shorts. Oh my god. Hu Tao's brown shorts wrap tightly around the firm shape of Hu Tao's butt cheeks and stop shortly, right below her butt line, exposing her thighs to the entirety of Teyvat's eyes. Those eyes are reserved for me only. They serve as my tongue serves as a polisher for her thighs, running my tongue up and down her thighs. I clean off all impurities that have accumulated on them. The shorts are made of really thin material, you'd be wondering. If they're made of such a thin fabric, why is the outline of her panties invisible? It's because she wears no panties. She goes commando. Good to know. Back to the discussion of the coat. I got sidetracked. We know. Hu Tao wears a long coat perfectly tailored to her petite body frames and arms. On the back of Hu Tao's coat, there are designs of silhouettes of equinox flowers paired with the butterflies. The lining of Hu Tao's coat is gold, which complements her Wangshan funeral parlor insignia she wears on her head, and is a great contrast to her red eyes, red pyro vision, and the plum blossom that rests on the side of her hat. Her coat is nothing short of magnificent. It's easy to tell that a tremendous amount of effort was placed into designing the best outfit for the character in the game. Thank you, Mihoyo, for tailoring these amazing clothes for my wife, Hu Tao. Thank you. This message is specifically directed towards the tailor of Hu Tao's outfits, Mihoyo. Hu Tao's clothes are really thick, her coat specifically, and as we know, the summer season is coming soon. Working on the kind of attire she's currently wearing could be suffocating. Please, on the behalf of my wife, make Hu Tao a bikini skin. An outfit that would allow her to flaunt her beautiful, perfectly shaped body to Teyvat. A bikini skin that would make onlookers drool their sore out. I want a skin to make Hu Tao look sexy. A skin that, when I walk with Hu Tao in Teyvat, onlookers would do nothing but stare in jealousy as I take her to work, with my arm wrapped around her waist while Hu Tao flaunts her summer bikini. She walks down the streets of Liyue. You can stare all you want, but the body is reserved for Laurent only. I guess that's this dude. Beneath Hu Tao's shorts, there's a beautiful spot on her left butt cheek. Good to know. This spot is generally turned on for me. Riddling Hu Tao's back's turning on brown. We're skipping that part. They dislike the use of condoms. Good to know. Mechanical contraception are armed to prevent unwanted pregnancies till we're ready to start a family. For that, we needed to have period blood and ensure that every body that includes pee, sweat, poo, and saliva. Her body shape is something that shouldn't be undermined. Hu Tao has the most ideal body shape any woman would desire. Not too busty, not too slim. Her shape is the embodiment of perfection. Hu Tao's thin waist extends uniformly down towards her curvy hips. The way her hips meld together and her beautiful behind and extend shapely all the way down her thighs. Hu Tao's body shape is that of an hourglass. She has an hourglass shape. You have to strain seeing it because she's mine. What the hell are you even doing seeing my wife naked? Why would you want to see my wife naked? Hu Tao's body is for my use only. I mean, you're really selling her attractiveness here. I mean, obviously we would want to see her naked after how this emphasis you're putting on her being so attractive. That's where she wears her stunning bikini. Hu Tao in a bikini. Oh, such thoughts fill my body with an overwhelming amount of ecstasy. This summer is going to be amazing. Did Hu Tao get a bikini skin? Does Hu Tao have a bikini skin? Well, she does here, but I don't know what that. Oh, Hu Tao swimsuit. I'm gonna guess no. Anyways, it takes a really complex person versed in the art of character derivation, observation, deduction, and worship to be able to praise how well a refined character like Hu Tao is. It's not a being on this earth, a goddess in the heavens, or a mythical being, or an imaginative figure that can compete with the cuteness and prettiness Hu Tao has to offer. She's one of a kind. Perfection is not a word used to describe Hu Tao. Hu Tao is used to describe perfection. Hu Tao has two sides to her voice, a soft, enhancing side and one that's full of enthusiasm. I'd once again like to extend my thanks to Ri Takahashi for having such a perfect voice for Hu Tao. Hu Tao and I usually have conversations for hours upon hours about our day, our hopes, dreams, future, how work went, the new poems that Hu Tao is currently working on, and a vast amount of other topics. The conversations that I have with Hu Tao never bore me out. We have such a great synergy with each other that our conversations seem to flow as fluidly as well-distilled water. She says the same thing every time. Obviously, you're going to have a well-flowing conversation. You know exactly what she's going to say. Time seems to fly by really fast. I usually find myself losing track of time when engaging in deep conversation with Hu Tao. Staring in her eyes can make me lose perception of time. Also, happy 100. Being Hu Tao has been a really good supportive wife towards me. Every time I fell sick or was in the worst of moods, Hu Tao was always there for me. She made me feel special, made me feel comfort. Hu Tao was always there bringing up my mood and comforting me. Sometimes she sings me a lullaby till I fall asleep, which I usually do. Other times, she reads me one of the poems she's working on or has completed. When I'm in the mood for science, Hu Tao will embrace me in her arms and let my head lay on her lap. She curls her fingers through my hair, her touch. Okay, anyways. I'm always there for her. I cuddle Hu Tao, make her meals, and nurse her till she's back to her typical upbeat mood. Hu Tao cares for me as much as I care for her. Tears slowly fall from my eyes onto the screen of the PC as I type this paragraph. Tears of happiness and gratefulness for meeting a person that goes by the name Hu Tao. I feel like we're repeating stuff now. She was the missing piece to the puzzle of my life. The fullness of the void. Even though Hu Tao's voice is not as perfect as she is, she makes up for what she lacks in vocals with her superiority in poetry. Hu Tao's poems are very unique. Also, we made it to May 1st. I don't know when we made it to May 1st. Because it was April 30th before, so either they've been typing all day or they started late at night, like 10. Hu Tao's poems are very unique. Poems that would never fail to keep you delving deeper into it, seeking for more as you read, searching for hidden meanings and interpretations. We gotta add that to the English curriculum in school, you know. According to this dude. Currently, Hu Tao is the best poet in Leeway. I think saying that she's the best poet in Leeway is an understatement. She's the best poet in the entirety of Tibet. It's the Electro Archons and Inazuma's loss that Hu Tao wasn't given a special invitation to perform her poetry at the Iridori Festival. Oh, and I give up. If you're reading this, we both know that when it comes to writing poetry, Hu Tao's poems are significantly better than yours. I honestly do not mean to brag. You're bragging for her. But I just want to rub it in your face a little before you slander me for not having a vision. Well, that's changed. I've been blessed by the Geo Archon. himself and received a geo vision. This dude got superpowers. Holy! They got superpowers from Zhongli out of nowhere. Okay, sure. Guys, we have the first ever superhuman on our hands. Hu Tao is on the surface is very confident and energetic, but as you get to know her, you'll realize she's a lot conscious of herself that she lets on. When you get to really know Hu Tao, she starts to open up and express her feelings for you more frequently. She does that to me anyways. The bond that Hu Tao and I share is a bond that rivals the gravitational pull on the earth. Underneath the guise, Hu Tao wants to be loved, which is something that I always fulfill for her. I love Hu Tao unconditionally. This thread might seem excessive, but trust me, it's not. The motivation I had to rewrite this to perfection stemmed from my inseparable bond with Hu Tao. I couldn't let the severely flawed 100 tweets thread simply be. I wish it was just 100 tweets. I had to make amends. Each passing day I spend with Hu Tao, she slowly opens up bit by bit. Hu Tao told me that she has a trusting sense of security when she's around me, which just shows things are definitely heading in the right direction for both of us. I do really enjoy the company of Hu Tao when she's with me. I feel I can walk to the moon and back effortlessly. I'll cross galaxies or even dimensions, if that is what it took to be with Hu Tao for life. Well, you better do it, dude. She's in like a fictional world. You gotta use your superpowers to split a hole in reality. Even when I pass on, my next reincarnation would seek out Hu Tao and the cycle continues. Would you seek out like Hu Tao or like Hu Tao's like descendant? I guess Hu Tao herself. The descendant wouldn't be good. Ooh, and the descendant will be related to you if we're thinking about it. Aww. Okay. Hu Tao's the type of person you can cuddle with throughout the entire night, while letting go of all your insecurities and negative thoughts. As you speak all the worries that weigh down on your shoulders to Hu Tao, she would listen thoroughly while stroking her face. Thank God. Giving you a sense of assurance. At this point, I cannot imagine my life without Hu Tao. She makes up a significant portion of my entire being. Losing her would be akin to losing myself. At a point in time, I found myself lost, just going with the flow without any sense of direction. I was laying on the waves, allowing the directionless tides of the ocean sweep my life into whatever direction it saw fit. I was lost on the waves. That was until Hu Tao came into my life. She reached down towards the waves, her arms stretched towards mine. I was reluctant at first, and didn't reach out. Hu Tao at that moment parted her lips and said, with life so fleeting, and death so inevitable, why waste a second not living it to the fullest? In which I replied, I've nothing to live for. When I said those few words, Hu Tao sighed. She pulled out her staff of Homa and used her elemental burst to knock some sense into me. She exploded this dude. He felt his soul shift out of his body for a second. After I regained my focus, Hu Tao then outstretched her hands towards me again and said, then live for me. Silly. Why did I say silly like that? Silly. My heart started to beat faster with life as I heard those words coming from Hu Tao's mouth. I really want to see a like count below 8. I've seen 8 for each of them. I reached out towards Hu Tao and grabbed her hand, smiling. She pulled me out of the waves of hopelessness and the tides of depression, and here I am now. Hu Tao made me become the being that I am today. She gave me purpose, so don't disrespect her and kindly keep my wife's name out your mouth. Arigato. I can go on and on endless writing about my wife, Hu Tao, but that process would eat a lot of your precious time of his precious time with Hu Tao herself. I do not wish to bore you. Dude, you write 300 tweets, that's a lot. Oh, I have to go. I'll be right back. Hu Tao just arrived at work, and it's really late. She's probably really tired. I'm gonna head to make dinner, which I would mouth feed her, of course. Then I'll proceed to give her a nice relaxing body oil massage before I kiss her tonight. So this is like 2 a.m. I'm imagining. 1 or 2 a.m. I'd mouth feed Hu Tao the meal of jollof rice which I made, with fried chicken. She really enjoyed it. Her mouth tasted like cherry lollipops. I love when I mouth feed Hu Tao food. The feeling of her tongue extending into my mouth to receive the portion I've chewed for her is a really pleasurable experience. Hu Tao slept shortly after the massage I gave her. She looks like an angel while she sleeps. She's beside me right now, cuddled and cozy. So this dude has reality shifted because he's currently sleeping next to her, unless he's talking about like a body pillow. What is Hu Tao to me? I'll keep repeating it. She's my daily drug, the blood to my heart, the blah blah blah. Who cares? Say something funny again. I was too captivated and admiring as she slept. I almost forgot to mention the admirable beauty of her hair. Dude, you mentioned her hair, I'm pretty sure. What I love about Hu Tao's hair is the sheer length of it. She's been growing out her hair for quite a while now. Even though Hu Tao decides her hair into two parts, Hu Tao's hair still reaches all the way past her knees, down her thighs. Hu Tao's hair feels and looks really healthy. It's a nice shade of brown with a dark shade of red on the lips. There's not a single split hair present in Hu Tao's thick, lush brown hair. The ends of Hu Tao's hair, which are dyed in dark red color, add a degree of aesthetical pleasure when admiring it. Hu Tao's hair glistens in the ray of Tibet's suns. The rays highlight every inch of perfectness in Hu Tao's hair. It really is such a beautiful sight to behold. When I run with Hu Tao in Genshin Impact, I love the way her long brown hair flows. Staring at the sway of her hair is enough to put you in a mesmerizing trance. So be warned, Hu Tao's design is really unique in Genshin Impact. It's gonna be 8 people just liking this. Hu Tao's hair feels silky smooth to the touch. There's a degree of bounciness to it. Kudos to Hu Tao's hairdresser. You do such a wonderful job. While not all kudos should go towards the hairdresser alone, kudos should be given to Hu Tao for her ability to maintain and upkeep her hairstyle in such a healthy manner. The smell of Hu Tao's hair. Depending on what shampoo and hair products Hu Tao uses in her hair each day, her hair takes on a particular pleasant smell. As of now, Hu Tao's hair smells of a hint of plum blossoms with a deep undertone of patchouli. Oh god, I love the smell of patchouli. How do I know what Hu Tao's hair smells like? Well, Hu Tao's asleep right now. Yeah, right next to you. I even have a piece of Hu Tao's hair in my mouth. I love the texture. Of course, I won't eat it. Lies. Also, 7 likes, finally. Please do not tell Hu Tao. Well, even if you did, I doubt she would mind. As expected of my queen. She takes very good care of her hair and personal hygiene. Sometimes there would happen to be some unexpected occasions. For example, when we unknowingly ran out of milk last night, so that morning I had to go make coffee to pair with our breakfast for Hu Tao and I. I had to improvise. I thought thoroughly that moment and knew what the best substitute would be. We're skipping this. In a tense session, I finally, made sure to aim my load directly above 2 coffee mugs and try my utmost to ensure both jugs of coffee had the same amount. So, he prepared some toast with butter and headed towards the bedroom. Hu Tao questioned why I took her so long, and I explained the entire situation. She blushed deeply, and a joyous smile formed on her face. We're skipping that. Hu Tao NSFWR is the only type of Genshin NSFWR I look at. Hu Tao has expressed to me that she does not like when I look at NSFWR of other characters. She gets kind of jealous and insecure when which I try not to make Hu Tao feel. I understand where Hu Tao is coming from, so I shall respect her wishes. And only look at the leads of her. No one else, nothing else. I'm like a loyal dog to Hu Tao. Well, saying a dog would be kind of degrading towards myself since me and Hu Tao are currently married. But also another 7. Get the idea, yes? So then I have not dared to look at any other NSFW artworks that didn't contain Hu Tao. Even Hu Tao herself, she masturbates to her own fan art and fan art of herself. It's so romantic. I'd like to extend my thanks towards the artists in the Genshin Impact community that draw NSFW arts of my wife Hu Tao. It seems that lewds of my wife is apparently really popular in the Genshin community. You can only do that to the lewds. I can actually have sex with Hu Tao. There was one time, we're skipping that, there's Ganyu. I was craving Ganyu horns. So, they did it to Ganyu, and Hu Tao walked in. They had no time to react. She looked over towards my PC screen and saw the lewd of Ganyu on full display. Her jaw dropped towards the floor. Laurent, Hu Tao uttered my name as she stood shaking. Tears started to well up in her eyes. How could you? I remember this moment vividly. Out of anger, she grabbed the closest object within her reach, and you guessed it, her object was the staff of Homa. She hurled it towards me at horrifying speeds. They shift their head out of the trajectory of the throw, and the staff of Homa went smashing through the computer screen, destroying it and the wall behind it to pieces. I was left speechless. She was crying so bad. Like, Laurent, your wife told you how she felt when you look at that of other characters, and you still proceeded to try and make a trip towards Gyanyu horns and send it to her. I realized how stupid and dishonest I acted at that moment. Imagine if Hu Tao didn't walk in and smash the computer screen with her staff of home at that very moment. I may have been successful in making the video of Ganyu's horns. Then I would send it to Ganyu herself. Hu Tao saved me from committing such an unforgivable scene. Yeah, it sounds like it, dude. It was a black chair with really comfy handles, with an adjustable seat, and ran towards Hu Tao. I grabbed her tightly by the shoulder and towards my chest. I till her head rested against my upper peck, and the sound of Hu Tao's sniff was very clear as water. I apologized to Hu Tao that evening, and we had sex to make up for it. We're skipping all of this. At least we get to skip it somehow. I, too, am really possessive of Hu Tao. I can tell Hu Tao was one of, and the only character I felt deeply in love with throughout my journey in Tibet, in which a majority of that journey was sent side to side with Hu Tao. Our bond grows stronger every passing second, minute, hours, days, and months. Hu Tao is an inseparable part of my very being. Take Hu Tao away, the I slowly collapse into nothing else. Taking Hu Tao away from me is akin to tearing a hole in my chest, removing my heart. Taking Hu Tao away from me at this point in time would prove to be an impossible task, since we are joined by the strings of fate, and soon he will impregnate her. The only thing is I regret not having met Hu Tao earlier in my life. Well, she was only made recently, so that's why. Genshin was the first gacha game I've committed to playing for over a year now. Before playing Genshin, I used to think that people spending thousands of dollars for just a pixel on the screen as a free game are in dire need of help. They are. They are. You need help. I could not grasp the concept. And now look at me. I've become a very part of the concept I didn't understand. The very concept which I previously ridiculed. Hu Tao is my first character in Genshin Impact to have seduced my wallet. My very first C6 character in which I have no regrets, and on her next banner I managed to R5 her weapon. But I didn't stop there. Once that spending barrier opened, there was no way of closing it. That's the moment I became addicted. Oh, we're going into addiction. How much do we bet they spent overall? It has to be like over 10k. So the first time I opened my wallet to Genshin Impact, it was difficult to close. As of now, I spent over 6,100 pounds on Genshin and still counting. It's been a year, almost. Yeah, I bet it's over 10k. To make Hu Tao feel even more appreciated, I decided to pull an R5 Elegy to equip on her supports to further amplify her already broken damage. It was such a bargain, due to her Staff of Homa and Elegy of the end being on the same weapon banner. This opportunity was quite hard to come by. I eventually gave in to temptations, which I have no regrets. It was one of the best decisions I made for my beloved Hu Tao. The satisfaction of maxing out my favorite character was completed. I wanted my Hu Tao to rule over the entirety of Tibet, banishing those that dare wish to oppose her or split her apart from me. Any obstacle that dares to weaken the bounds Hu Tao and I have for another would feel the wrath of our love and be vanquished to nothingness. My life lays in the hands of Hu Tao. If she wishes, I would sacrifice myself for her, without any second thoughts or questions. Love changes people. Hu Tao, I love you. During the writing of this thread, I've tried my utmost best to suppress my level of thirst I've had towards Hu Tao. It was a difficult task. You did not do a very good job. Or maybe you did, I don't know. Eventually got too much for me. My thirst for Hu Tao has entered into a state of overdrive and seeps from my very fingertips, manifesting it in its words. Okay, we're gonna skip some of these for a little bit. 77 children? That's... Alright, we're just gonna skip this for a little. Uh... Okay, we're gonna go here. My queen and goddess, the light of my life, please let me have her. I want her to be mine and only mine. She's right next to you in bed. She's yours, man. I lick the Dorito dust from her fingertips and fill her belly button with honey mustard to dip my tendies in. I'd give her a sponge bath. This is an Okay, the Dorito dust, you already talked about the fingertips. Fill her belly button with honey mustard to dip chicken tenders in. She would let her eat eggs and pancakes off your body. I'd hear the torment of eternal damnation until the end of time to taste the seat of her car. She has a car? Okay, we're adding some stuff to the lore here. So she has a car that she drives, I imagine. And he wants to lick her seat. You can lick her seat. I wouldn't even let myself... Yeah, until she gave me permission. I love you, Hu Tao. Please be mine. She already said yes. On that debate stage, talking about the Irish national debt or whatever. Answer my calls, respond to my letter. Give me a sign, Hu Tao. I'm waiting for you. She's next to you! Oh. Okay, yeah, she woke up. Hu Tao just woke up. I have to cuddle her back to sleep. She slept like an angel. So this dude's been going for like 8 hours. Apparently. Because it's like 8 a.m. now. She just woke up. I say softly to Hu Tao as I run my hands... Okay, good, not an SFW. Hu Tao sat up and leaned forward. We both kissed. Smelling our morning breath was something I craved. Regardless of if Hu Tao brushed or not, her mouth would still be smelling fresher than a pack of cherry mints. Hu Tao moved her hands towards my face, pulling me closer to it. As her tongue slid deeper into my morning, 20 minutes of kissing, blah blah blah. I was heading down to prepare breakfast as she gets ready for her morning shift as the funeral parlor. She removed all her clothes, wrapped herself in a towel. She went to go, stood up and walked towards the bathroom. She usually uses my morning drive to brush her teeth. Okay. Let us worship Hu Tao together. Now I shall, okay, we're praying. My goddess, who art in Celestia, hallowed by thy name. Thy kingdom come. They will be done on the day as it is in Celestia. Give us this day your holy presence and forgive us for our simping of other waifus, as we forgive those who has not turned their life to Hu Tao, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Embrace us into your arms, Hu Tao. Amen. In the name of my goddess, my queen, the holy Hu Tao, amen. I turned my life to Hu Tao and was born again with purpose. To this I give thanks to you, Hu Tao. You may be wondering what exactly is the relationship between Hu Tao and I. Well, it's complicated. Let me explain. You guys, you don't have to explain. I understand. You're married. You only love her. You have a religion for her. You would do anything for her. And that's about it. You worship her. Hu Tao is many things to me. Hu Tao's soulmate, yeah. Husband, yeah. Loyal servant, yeah. Hu Tao enthusiast, yeah. More than just lovers. Hu Tao is my other half. Well, people say that, but like, a ton of people. When people claim to be Hu Tao's lover, Hu Tao's husband, Hu Tao's boyfriend, or even Hu Tao's #1 simp, it makes my blood boil and evaporate out of my ears. Holy shit. Bro reaches over 100 degrees Celsius. Triggers every fiber of my being, so please, for your own sake, refrain from giving yourself such self-proclaimed titles that has my wife's name in them. Thank you. The first time I saw her Hu Tao, I was filled with such ecstasy. It was such a memorable experience when I placed Hu Tao on the team. The way she spoke to me, I knew she was the one. Imagine if they like removed her from the game or something. Hu Tao was standing in my first party member slot. I was panting heavily. I couldn't control myself. I lifted my phone to my face and began to lick the entire area of the screen that Hu Tao was on. I kept on licking. I had to suppress my urges from reaching its maximum potential. Perfection exists in a form named Hu Tao. Yeah, you said that. You said that, like, it perfectly describes her. Or she perfectly describes it. She gives a meaning to the word perfection. You already went through this. She's the sole reason you play Genshin. Alright, now you're really getting repetitive. I'm always there to lend a listening ear to Hu Tao, especially when times get tough. If not I, then who? I tried my utmost best to comfort Hu Tao, to make her feel loved and appreciated. I almost got distracted talking about my wife, Hu Tao, that the slices of bread got placed in the toaster, almost burned. How do you burn pieces of that toaster when you're distracted? They pop out. She doesn't like burnt toast, so you remove it. It wasn't burnt, so you're fine. You place it on the plate. Though the full Irish breakfast was homemade by myself the previous day, I made extra just in case of moments like these. I didn't want Hu Tao to be late to work. Orange juice, I almost forgot the juice. Opening the kitchen fridge, I removed a 2-liter carton of chilled 100% organic natural orange juice and placed it on the tray, alongside the breakfast I prepared. Breakfast was looking good. I'm quite a good cook myself. I carried the breakfast tray upstairs as I sent it. I saw Hu Tao getting out of the shower. Let's make sure there's no image. Ooh, there is an image. Alright, do we have to speed run through this? Was that fast enough? I don't know if anything's there, but I don't want to see anything. Tying her hair back up, Hu Tao walked towards the bed and sat down. I leaned in and kissed her on the lips. A cherry flavor radiated from her mouth. It might have been lipstick. I think it's just natural, dude. I think with the way you're describing her, it's gotta be all natural. I prepared into my mouth and began to chew. I chewed until the pieces of food were perfectly melded with my saliva. Then I leaned in towards Hu Tao. She opened her mouth. Using my tongue, I pushed a piece of chewed food from my mouth into Hu Tao's. I repeated this process till there wasn't a single crumb of food left. She looked sexy as hell, with her black bra and oversized white shirt that she wore after showering. I took this opportunity to ask her if I could take a picture of her. Hu Tao, please shove your stuff of home and your saliva down my throat. You stare at me pathetically. This one has 21 likes. People really like this one. Look at me in disgust as you remove your pants and piss all over me. I can tell why people really like this one. 36 retweets? Hell yeah. I love this one too. I like... This line goes hard. Look at me in disgust as you remove your pants and piss all over me. That goes hard. Bury my corpse, Hu Tao. Bury me and spit on my grave as you sing the Hilly Churl song. Don't place flowers on my grave. It says, sow my grave with your beautiful golden fluids. Stretch my body, Hu Tao. I would resurrect for you just to eat my heart again and perform another burial ceremony for me, so I can hear the sound of your voice again as you sing during the ceremony. I thought that said homosexual. I was really confused. They're Hu Tao sexual. That's important. That's a part of the lore. I have to go to my daily Genshin convention, brush my teeth and shower. Also, hurry underwear won't wash themselves. Twitter tried restricting me. They tried suppressing my love for Hu Tao. Man, censoring Donald Trump and stuff? Nah, they're censoring this dude. They tried silencing me from spreading the glories of Hu Tao, but in the end, I will prevail. I have prevailed. Nothing, I mean nothing. Not even Jesus himself can get in the way of us. This dude... this dude was censored by Twitter. Elon Musk has to save him. After a thorough discussion with the Twitter customer service, I managed to enlighten them about the wonders of my wife, my queen, my soulmate, and my lover. The Twitter support representatives who are reborn into the glory of Hu Tao and decided to free my account. The next set of events I had proceeded to talk about are events that completely shifted my viewpoint on life. These events are, yeah, we're still in the same thread. We're still in the same thread, bro. I understand everything. So then you had marriage. Why do people get married and have kids? Why do they marry themselves to one partner? Produce offspring that would lead to increased cost of living. I just want to settle down alone, just you in a single apartment. 1 bedroom, 1 office room, 1 king-size luxurious bathroom, a kitchen, a living room, and a guest room. Wow, that's a pretty big house. I'd be cool with, I would literally be okay if my house was just, like, 2 rooms. Just a kitchen in my bedroom. I would actually be okay with that. That would suffice for the actually, also a bathroom, obviously. But that's it. Lifestyle, peace, loneliness, and contemplation. I thought I didn't have the capacity to love. I didn't care about marriage or relationship. This view would be completely changed when I met Hu Tao. She shattered my illusion and replaced it with one of us. Hu Tao changed my concept of life. The answer to the view I previously held was love. From Hu Tao's character design to her voice and charisma, I was hooked. Blah blah blah, true love, idle animations were blissful. Hu Tao saved him. We're going next to the new point. Yeah. We're going to the next point. That was unintelligible what I said before. I would kneel down by my bed and say my daily Hu Tao prayer before finally straightening my Hu Tao themed inspired bed covers and pillows. Some people may find this to be a little excessive. They don't understand. One of my favorite books is my photo book. It's full of photos of Hu Tao, and I took together throughout our romantic journey. I had it all. Love of my wife, the woman of my dreams. Reality never felt so good. On the 21st of June, I decided to... So this is last year. Or not last year. This is 2021. So, June 21st, 2021, he introduced Hu Tao to both of his parents to seek their approval in marriage. If they didn't accept us, I would still marry Hu Tao regardless. I just wanted to see where my parents stood. Was I nervous? Of course I was. This is good lore. It's not often I introduce future marriage prospects to my parents. In fact, Hu Tao was the very first. Currently, Hu Tao and I lived in the same apartment, an apartment which we planned on moving out of once we complete our marriage. So if they live together, there's obviously some sort of physical form that he has for her. So at least he's not showing like his parents like a phone. He has some sort of like life-size doll or body pillow or something. So he has something physical at least. So he wants to purchase a mansion. So this dude has to be rich. Huta found it to be a bit too excessive. Instead, we stayed in a private ensuite villa that had beautiful frontal beach view, which would also make for romantic stargazing in the evening with Hu Tao. It had a luxury swimming pool. The house was ideal. I woke up, we began to get dressed for the occasion. First impressions were everything, so we decided to wear something casual. Hu Tao's outfit made my jaw drop. She dressed like an angel. I threw my pair of black Nike tracksuits with a knee-length down jacket, which I paired with my favorite pair of Jordan. Okay, now you're just flexing. After I put on my shoes, I tied up my dreads with an elastic band in an attempt to make them look as neat as possible. Dreads? You have dreads? I cannot. What does this dude look like? What, like. I can't think of a picture in my head. At first, I thought that they were, like, white. Right? Dreads aren't really a common style for, like, white people. They could be white with dreads. I don't know what that would look like. I've seen white people with dreads before. I mean, they look fine, but, like. Once Hu Tao was ready, we headed down towards the car. We had to stop for some gifts, just something for my parents. I'll appreciate anything, really. We sat on the bench outside the wine shop while I entered the store to purchase a bottle of red wine. After a few minutes of thinking, I decided what type of wine I was going to get. They got Château Lafite. Okay, wait. How expensive is this? What's the cheapest one? Sure. This was the first result. Around $1,000 for the cheap one. This is the cheapest one, $1,300. Okay, spent $1,300. Great. I checked out of the store using Apple Pay and placed the red wine in a red complimentary small bag. The bag was optional, not worth the price, but I couldn't hand them one without the bag. Sigh. Out of the way. On to my parents' house. She's sitting on the bench with a butterfly perched on her finger. She looked divine. I had to capture the moment. She's got to be clothed in this, right? Yes, she is. Okay. We're safe. Let's go, hun. I said to Hu Tao in a gentle tone. She smiled back, stood up, and walked towards our parked car. I held the front passenger door open for Hu Tao. I'm such a gentleman, I know. This dude's got mega riz. Holding the door open? Shit, I would have never thought of that. When she got in, I closed the door after her and hopped in from my side, inserting the car keys to the ignition. Okay, so this dude's the driver. The journey to my parents' house took a surprising 20 minutes. Looks like there was lack of traffic this morning. We got out of the car and walked up to my parents' house. I handed the bag of red wine to Hu Tao to present to my parents. Does this dude live on Earth? There's like conflicting lore here, it feels like. Because she's on Genshin Impact. He plays Genshin Impact every day. But also, she's next to him. She lives with him. So, she's real and also in Genshin Impact, apparently. And he talks with her IRL, but he plays with her in-game Genshin Impact character. Okay, I'm kinda grasping things. I rung the doorbell, no answer. I rung it again. This time I heard footsteps. It was the welcoming smile of both my mom and dad. Hu Tao handed them the wine and introduced herself. So I'd have to imagine we're in some sort of alternate reality. I think, yeah, we're definitely in an alternate reality. This alternate reality has Genshin Impact as a video game, but also the characters are alive. The characters are like have like come to life. That's my guess. He lives in like a 2D world where the characters are alive, but there's also the Genshin Impact video game. When I introduced Hu Tao as the person I was going to marry, Hu Tao got on really well with my parents. We had a long conversation catching up about the past we have been spent together. I couldn't stop talking about her. It was a surprise, really. I love her so much. After a long conversation that seemed to last for hours, we said our final goodbyes. Hu Tao hugging both my parents. My mom approved of Hu Tao, while my dad didn't say whether he approved or not. Overall impression was good. Shortly after, Me and Hu Tao headed home, and I received a phone call from my dad saying he has disowned me. His loss. He's now sonless. No! This is so sad. The twist. The dad has disowned him. I don't see the problem. What's wrong with Hu Tao? Because, hypothetically, we are in, like, a, 2D universe where she is a real person. Considering she was physically able to hug the parents. So, I don't know why the dad hates her so much. She can't be that bad of a person. Hu Tao and I both had an emotional, physical, and sexual attraction towards each other. I've been supporting Hu Tao ever since her first league. I've spent thousands on Hu Tao merchandise. For my goddess and soon-to-be wife, Hu Tao. Soon-to-be? You said you're married. You said you're married. You're conflicting lore. Are you just making this up? Is this all lies? I think it's time for the next steps. Officially proposing. Oh, maybe this is in the past. I think this is in the past. I took shallow, deep breaths. You can do this, Laura. I had to prepare. So, they got Sue a wedding ring. Stuff for more stylish black tuxedo. What color of flowers would Hu Tao like? Probably red. Roses. Just get her roses. I had to ask, but I held back. I couldn't afford to ruin the surprise. I had to improvise on flowers. You forgot the name of Hu Tao, of the flower on Hu Tao's grandfather's hat? Dude, are you even really her, were you really even her soon-to-be husband? It's called a plum blossom. Yeah, you brought it up earlier, so I guess, yeah, this is definitely in the past. Upon finding the name of the flower, I rushed to my local flower boutique. I walked over and said, give me a batch of freshest plum blossoms, a batch of 100. After purchasing, are these real plum blossoms? Oh, they are real. Okay. After purchasing the flowers, I rushed home to my personal office to keep the flowers hidden from Hu Tao. I had to preserve them in a vase of water to keep them as fresh as possible. Their botanical name of plum blossoms are called Prunus mume. Such a pretty name. Now, with the flowers out of the way, all that was left was the wedding ring. The wedding ring had to be pure gold with sapphire and diamond crystals. I wanted to make my Hu Tao feel like the best woman to ever step foot on this earth. Well, she is a goddess. My local jeweler had nothing of the standard to blow Hu Tao away. I couldn't mess up. I decided to have her wedding imported from Paris. It was stunning, even though I had no sapphires. The quality of the diamonds had to suffice. Hu Tao would be pleased. I rushed back home. It was time for me to propose to Hu Tao. Time for us to finally become one intertwined entity. I forgot the champagne. It's alright though. Hu Tao and I drink each other's piss in a glass of chilled ice. Good to know. I stood in front of the door, flowers in hand, waiting for Hu Tao to get back from work. I heard the click of Hu Tao's car keys and the click of her feet as he walked towards the house. The house door handle slowly turned. Hu Tao stepped inside the way. She stared at me. I dropped to one knee, eyes locked with Hu Tao. My heart was beating so fast, and my chest thump, thump, thump. The world, it felt as if time stopped ticking. I finally found my breath and said, Hu Tao, had you married me? She let out a shout of excitement. She couldn't contain herself. I remember this moment vividly. She pounced on me, placed her mouth to my ears, and said, yes, Lara. I slipped the wedding ring onto her finger before I could. She kissed me. Tasted like strawberries. So like sometimes it's cherries, sometimes it's strawberries. Held her by the waist, lifted her up against the wall, and kissed her back from gently. They kissed. I'm all yours. Ooh, we might have to skip through some of this. She had, okay, important note. He has a third eye. So, he, at this point, I guess, didn't have the blessing of the Geo Archon. But he did awaken his third eye at that time. So currently, he's in a state where he's awakened his third eye and has the power of a Geo Archon. This dude could probably solo the entire Genshin Impact universe. Let's be real. Yeah, that's all that. Whatever. You went to the bed. Well, I might have to skip all this. No, I saw some of it. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah. She was, yeah. Oh, I might have to just skip through. Ooh, she's pregnant. That's awesome. Oh shoot! That's a real certificate of marriage. That's real. Okay, that was great. There's one thing I want to do really, really quickly. I have to go to Hu Tao. This one has 2.8 million. Wow. All of this better be this one dude. 77th. Oh, the grandfather was 75th. Okay. That makes sense. Alright. What do you think about... Is that how you spell it? Laurent. E-N-T. This better be... This better be good. She's really thinking. How would she describe her husband? She's thinking still. Is she not gonna say anything? Does she have too much to say? Laurent, a real pain in the neck. Oh my god. That's actually no. Yeah, I feel quite bad. We should probably give him a free cremation. Finally lay him to rest. You heard it here first, folks. Things have not gone well since May 1st, 2022. Things have truly gone downhill. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.